Halfon, it's a busy Saturday afternoon here on the boardwalk in Harlow. The Labour candidate's been outside schools campaigning because people are very concerned about cuts to education. Those figures are true, aren't they, that we've seen on schools?
I've campaigned all over the last few years for more money for schools. You just have to look me up on Google, type in Robert Halfon school funding. And I'm really glad that the Prime Minister's announced an extra 14 billion on top of the budget of 90 billion for schools. And those figures aren't entirely accurate. So they say there's going to be 1.9 billion next year. That actually means 2.6 billion for schools. Every school in Harlow is going to get more money. Now, I'm the first person to, I won't deny for a moment it's been pretty tough over the last few years because we had no money. Labour Party treasurer in the Treasury, Labour Party Treasury Minister left a message saying there was no money left. We're spending hundreds of millions just to get rid of the debt and the deficit. I've campaigned for more money. Boris has listened, 14 billion extra for schools over the next 3 years.
Because you do bring up this no money thing a few times. I do believe Liam Byrne, former pupil at Burt Mill, that was a joke, wasn't it? You know,
but it wasn't a joke. It was completely true. We were on the verge. Everyone remembers 2010. We were on the verge of bankruptcy. We had a deficit, the highest deficit even since the Second World War. We were paying something like 140 million a day just to pay off the interest of the debt. Now we've got that deficit down because of that, right down. We're able to spend more money on public services. Now just tell me this, what vote do you win by saying you're going to cut public services? What vote do you win?
Is this one of the problems with this election, is that you're coming up with these stats and then there'll be fact checking and people will say, yeah this, yeah bit that. Is that in many ways, with the education, people they may not believe the politicians, but they may believe an eminent head teacher like Vic Goddard. You know, so who are people to believe here?
I've never denied it's not been tough for schools, and that's why I've spent the last 2 years since being chair of the Education Committee in Parliament working with MPs from all parties trying to get more money from the government for schools, and Boris has announced that, an extra £14 billion. Don't forget there's also been the pupil premium, which the government brought in, the Conservative government in 2011, which again is not included in those figures, of over £26 million for most disadvantaged pupils across Harlow schools since 2011. So, you know, there are statistics, damn line statistics as the and people use statistics to suit their own needs, but people will know that I have championed education, skills and apprenticeships. Look at Harlow College, we're not far away, we're in Boardwalk at the moment. Harlow College is just opposite. They got 11 million from the government for an advanced manufacturing centre, brand new Harlow College at Stansted Airport, one of the only kind in the company, a new maths school. You know, I've brought millions of pounds into Harlow for education. I'm very proud of what I've done, and where I've thought the government needs to do more, I have been challenging them.
Are enough students from Harlow going to university, or are there too many students from Harlow going to university? And, you know, is there a culture of aspiration, as some might say there was in my time?
Well, actually, I think Harlow people are very aspirational. What I would love to do is to have people go to university, fine, but I want to try. My dream is for every single young person who wants one to have an apprenticeship, if they want one, where you earn while you learn. There's no debt at all. No loan, you're virtually guaranteed to get a job at the end of it. 90% of apprentices get jobs at the end of it. That is what I've championed my whole time since I've been in Harlow, championing apprenticeships and education, which is why I've helped to bring millions of pounds for Harlow College, for their skills, to make us the skills capital of the East of England. That's why I've employed apprentices in Harlow, never been done before, apprentices who've studied at Harlow College.
So having had this rather reactive conversation about education, about what is the government's pledge? Is there anything going to be in the manifesto, or what would you say at the heart when it comes to education? Are the Conservatives doing more or better than other parties?
The manifesto hasn't come out yet, so I don't know what's going to be in the manifesto, but what we have pledged is more money for early years. We spent billions of pounds on nursery and early years education. We increased that a lot to try and make sure that 3 and 4 year olds have 30 hours a week of childcare and nursery education. We spent billions of pounds on apprenticeships. Harlow College has had millions of pounds for a new advanced manufacturing centre. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, has promised an extra 14 billion for our schools. Every Harlow school will get an increase. It's not perfect. I'll always campaign for more money. I've campaigned for the last few years for more funding for our schools, and I have huge respect for people like Godon and other teachers, and they know that I have campaigned and stuck my head out, even though challenging the government to try and get more money for our schools.
Just finally, I haven't heard, I've never heard Bill Rammell or Susie Stride or Phil Waite bring this up, but the Labour candidate Laura McAlpin brought up the fact that she went to Burton Academy and you went to an independent school in North London. Do you resent that being brought up?
It's up to her, whatever she wants to do. It's sort of negative campaigning. I mean, my father came here with nothing. He came here as an immigrant, sold fruit and vegetables wholesale in East London in a warehouse. My cousin had a shop here. Although I wasn't brought up in Harlow, my cousin had a shop here.
It was John Walton.
John Walton shop, which some of your older readers will remember, between the 1950s and closed down in the 1980s because of the Harvey Centre. It was just couldn't compete with the chain shops, and it sadly closed. But people don't care about what kind of school you went to, what they care about what you do. And I've championed education and apprenticeships. I'm proud of my record in Harlow. People know that I've helped secure a new hospital, hundreds of millions of pounds. Public Health England, 600 million pounds, will be the public health science capital of the world. It's not about where you come from or where your parents chose to send you to school. It's about what you do and do you work hard for people. And I always work hard for Harlow. I love Harlow. I champion Harlow and I fight hard for Harlow.